Hi, Class 635. My name's Katie Piazza. I will be doing a second grade lesson in skip counting in order to determine the total sum of coins up to $1, actually less than $1. My lesson is geared toward a rising second grade student, meaning she's finished with first grade. She's going to be entering second grade. Her name is Maria. She has selective mutism, which, for those of you who don't know, you can read my fact sheet, but you don't have to. Selective mutism is when you have the ability to speak, you don't necessarily have a speech disorder, but you refuse to speak in public places, specifically school, which significantly hinders your learning. So it's not shyness, it's not even extreme shyness, it's so pervasive that this child has refused to speak in any school setting after 3 months of her first schooling. So usually 3 months after kindergarten, if you refuse to speak, they go through further testing. She was diagnosed with selective mutism, and it has significantly affected her learning. She is stronger in math. Her literacy skills are difficult to assess. She has difficulty in writing, but this is a math lesson, so these are where she really shines. Again, this is a second grade lesson. The standards for second grade require that students skip count by 5s and 10s, not by 25s. However, they need to count coins, so they'll be counting quarters. Students do have familiarity with counting by 10s because they practice that in kindergarten and first grade as addition strategies. However, again, the standards don't require them to skip count. So these are skip counting by 5s and 10s are things that we do during fluency. The introduction to money happens in social studies, so they do have some of these skills, but the standards today will specifically address identifying coins and then skip counting by their value in order to determine the total sum of a set of coins. These are going to be light coins. They're not going to be a mixed set of coins. That would be tomorrow's lesson, which I've interwoven into my lesson plan as an extension. So I will get started. I would say to my kids, we'll just call them Class 635. Good afternoon, Class 635. Today we're going to learn how to be savvy savers. Does anyone know what it means to save money? Give me a thumb up if you've ever saved for something you really, really, really wanted. You have? I'm sure you have. What'd you really want? Oh, really? Yep, you better save a lot of money for that. Good. Well, one of our students, Maria, has been saving, and she was actually able to buy something at the PBIS store with all the money she saved. What saving means is that every week, instead of spending the money she had, she put it in a safe location and she saved up $20 to buy a sticker book. How's that sticker book working out for you? I know you love it. I'm so proud of her for saving, and she's so proud of herself. So what saving means is taking little bits of money. It could be dollars, or it could be something that we call coins, and putting them away until you have a total amount or a certain amount. Do you guys remember in the morning meeting the poem that we practiced, the money tree? Well, that's a funny poem because money doesn't grow on trees, right? If money grew on trees, we'd have lots of it. There's leaves all over. But money doesn't grow on trees. We have to work hard for it. We need to save it. Who can tell me a way that you can earn some money? You could do chores. Yep. You might get it for your birthday. Or you could get it from the tooth fairy. You might get it from the tooth fairy. We don't know. I'm not so sure about that. But money doesn't grow on trees. But we do have a funny poem about money growing on trees. So let's rev up our brains and we're going to read the poem all together. So the purpose, side note, the purpose of reading this poem is just to weave choral reading into our day. Marie being a selective mute, it's good for her to practice shaping words even if she's not saying words. This is a strategy that the speech pathologist taught me. Well, it's not necessarily a strategy, but it's a scaffold to get her to start moving her mouth in the shape of sounds. So this is like a low-risk activity for her because she doesn't know that it's specifically aimed at her practicing speaking, and it just helps with a lot of our kids who are lower readers. So we're gonna go back. We're gonna read our money poem. You guys can follow along on the smartboard, which is gonna be my laptop, because obviously I don't have a smartboard in my kitchen. And here we go. The money tree. Now, Maria has a copy of this, and she's going to be pointing to each word. She might even be scooping because her goal is fluency for as much as I can see with her following her finger and one-to-one correspondence. So this is just a quick way for me to informally assess that. The money tree. I dreamed I grew a money tree outside in my yard. My job was to care for it. I worked very hard. I saw that it was watered, it grew so straight and tall, and when the money tree ripened, I picked it in the fall. The flowers were green dollar bills, the seeds inside were coins, and others grew and glittered where all the branches joined. On windy days I stood below and held a great big bucket. Other days I climbed right up to find one ripe and pluck it. People say that money doesn't really grow on trees. I know, I only wish it did, just like in my dreams. All right, good job, guys. So we know money doesn't grow on trees. That's just silly. Money's a real thing that we gotta earn and we gotta save for. So, since we're gonna work on being savvy savers, it's really important that we know the different types of coins. So I'm gonna put a couple of coins under the Elmo, and I'm going to ask you to tell me the name and give me a thumb up if you know the value. Okay, so this is where it's gonna get tricky because I'm gonna try to, I don't even know if you can see me. I'm going to try to replicate an Elmo, so we'll see how that goes. This is the anchor chart for the lesson that I would attempt to make with the students. So what I'm going to say is, can anybody tell me the name of this coin? And I'm only going to use a penny for reference. We're not going to be skip counting pennies, but they usually all have a pretty good sense of a penny. So I'm going to show them, like, when you see a bunch of coins, we want to look at the head of the coin. How do we know it's the head? Because there's a face on it, and I see my kids playing heads and tails all the time, so I know that this is something that they have prior knowledge of. So I would say, okay, who knows the name of this coin? It's a penny. All right, and the value, and they're going to say 1 cent. So I'm just going to model writing 1 cent. Can everyone do a C and a line? We're going to do a sky writing on the cent sign. I'm going to work that in later in the lesson. So this is going to continue for a nickel, for a dime, and for a quarter. So this is going to become our class anchor chart. This is the part that we built together. We go ahead, we write 5 cent. I do it with them. They can sky write with me. 10 cent. They'll go ahead, they'll sky write with me. 25 cents. They'll sky write with me. Now, you know, we know in reality 1 cent would be a decimal, a 0 and a 1, but the 4th grade, we don't get to decimals. Any number right, the decimal place until 4th grade, so Engage in New York just represents cents using this format. Okay, so boys and girls, if we want to be savvy savers, what I would say to them is we're going to think, what kind of coin is it? What is the value? They can use this for reference, especially because they might not be used to seeing it like this. Second, we're going to skip count each coin by the value. And finally, we're going to record the value in dollars and cents. I would remind them today we're only going to have cents. Tomorrow, we might build up to $1. All right, so I'm going to try to reposition this camera. We're going to get on with this. Okay, so now we have the anchor chart. To make this a little more quote-unquote sticky for like students with speech and language delays, especially Maria, because she doesn't speak. I do hand motions. I would say we're going to think what kind of coin it is. We're going to ask ourselves what's the value. We're going to skip count, and we're going to record. Now, when we get to the record part, we're going to do a cent sign, which is a little C, and a slash through. So I would say to them, everyone put their sky writing finger up, go whew, whew, cent sign. So this isn't the most important part of the lesson, recording the units just yet. It's the concept that I can identify a coin, I know the value of the coin, and I apply that to skip counting. So I would say we're going to do one all together. Okay, let's say I empty out my piggy bank and I get a set of coins. Can everyone identify the set of coins? I put it under the Elmo. Oh, it's a nickel. I hear it's a nickel, and right now I'm informally assessing. Can I identify the coin? Do I know its value? Can everyone hold up the number of fingers to show me the value? 5, easy. Okay, so I'm going to skip count by 5s. Now I need to see how many nickels I have. So I'm going to lay the nickels out. Some kids can jump around and skip count because they have that ability. I would lay these out on the chart, but I can't. All right, everyone, let's count how many nickels we have. We're going to skip count by what? 5s. Why? Because it's a nickel. So these are just like little informal checks of theirs, little informal assessments of their identifying the coin and its value. So here we go. Let's skip count. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Missing a nickel. 35. Good job. So let's record it. 35 cents. Now, the important component of the choral skip counting for Maria is that she's either practicing. I'm looking to see that she's shaping her mouth. So she's saying 5, 10, 15. I'm looking, what I can see mostly is the sound of the F. I'm not a speech pathologist, but I'm doing the best I can to model it for her, and I'm looking out for it. Towards the end of the year, I will tell you, she was actually my student, I did see her shaping some sounds, and I would record it when I saw it. Another item that she can use, and this would be part of her kit, is a hundreds chart. So when she wasn't shaping, because there's a good chance some days she will, some days she won't, she can follow along with the chart. So let's just increase it. It's another 100 chart. Another modality for her to actively participate. Okay, so I do my, this is the I do. Most of the times they're gonna do what we do on the rug. I'll say, okay, everyone's gonna get a practice set. Here's a set. Work with your partner, follow these steps, 5 minutes, disagree, agree. The important part for Melanie here is she does have these cue cards where she can either put out agree or disagree, and she's gonna be tasked with showing her thinking using coins or using a whiteboard that she has with her to jot things down. She's not going to write, she's likely going to draw a picture. So we do our active engagement, and now I'm going to send them off into 3 different groups. I have group 1, they're going to work on their own, they're going to peer assess. Group 2 is going to work with a partner on a worksheet. This is the worksheet that they're going to be working on after being given 3 different baggies of coins. So they're going to be, they'll each get their own worksheet. Group 1, working alone, peer assessing. Group 2 is working with a partner the whole time, so hopefully they're working through a productive struggle together. And then Group 3 will be a reteach with me. They're only going to be skip counting or finding the value of sets of dimes and nickels, because the goal is that they can identify the coins, skip count. Quarters will come later. Melanie is going to be in the first group. She's going to work independently because that's what she prefers, but she is challenged to peer assess. So she has capabilities in math. There's a good chance that she'll see something her partner is doing wrong, and at that point she can put out the disagree card or the I agree card. And she is pretty forward in telling someone when they're not correct. Like she'll just say, and then she can show them whether she's manipulating coins or she writes on her whiteboard. So that would be the independent work. Fast forward, they're going to come back, they're going to share. I'm going to acknowledge a group that worked well together, a partnership that worked well together. I'm going to ask for, with time allowing, because I know time is running a little short, I'm going to ask for a group that did the nickels correctly. I'm going to ask everyone to share out the value they got for the dimes. They should get 60 cents, and they should record that on their sheets accordingly. And then I'm going to ask someone to share their thinking with quarters. What I would likely do, because I know students aren't used to counting by 25s, is I have a quick little exercise for them. So I would put quarters down. We're going to quickly count quarters, and usually they know 4 quarters make $1 because I think they do save their money. They're 7 years old, so they definitely know the value of $1. And so we just quickly go 25, 50, 75, 100, and I would show them the quarters. This will be up for them to reference when they're counting. This is an anchor chart. I don't know if you can see it. This is an anchor chart with minimal text, so it just says I'm thinking of the coin, I'm associating the value, I'm skip counting the number of coins, I could lay the coins out, and I'm recording the value. Again, I put the cent sign because that's not necessarily the most important component of this lesson, nor does it transfer to other critical standards. So this would be a lesson. An extension activity would be for the children being pushed. They'll get a mixed bag of coins, and they need to find the value of that set of coins. or they might be doing an activity with repetition, which would be skip counting or matching. So I do have those files uploaded. I will just put them up quickly, and then there will be an exit ticket. Version A would be what most students get. They're just going to say, hey, Sam got a piggy bank. There are eight a couple times in it. Let me just put that up so you guys can see it. And then the other version would be just practicing identifying coins and their value. So this would be what most students get. It's a word problem. Sam saved 8 nickels this week. At the end of the week, he wanted to know the total value of the coins. What is the value of each set of coins the set of coins Sam saved? Show your work. This is what Maria would be getting because she's more than capable of answering a word problem. Again, this is hypothetically an ICT class, so there will be a range of skills. Other students will be matching the picture to the name to the monetary value, and then they'll be given a set of dimes that they're asked to skip count and find the value of. The cent sign again is given. So this is just a differentiation of the exit ticket and assessment because I am meeting different learning targets, and then I can use that to plan small groups in there. I would possibly give a lot of these kids the version 1 exit ticket as the application problem the next day. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope I met Maria's needs. It's, it's a struggle when students don't communicate with you, but that's what we're here for. And so relationship building, which I think we've accomplished, would be a big asset to Maria. Because again, there is anxiety around our communication. So thank you guys so much. Enjoy your last 2 weeks of summer, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks.